Everybody, you are just in time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about those stories that have everybody talking.
And we're joined today by local blogger, Rochelle Fritsch, plus Jeff Wagner is back. A third grader in Connecticut was banned from attending school because of Ebola fears. The child and her family attended a wedding in Nigeria. So once she got back to the U.S., the school refused to allow the child back into the classroom for 21 days. But the girl and her parents were never exposed to anyone with Ebola. Now the girl's family has filed suit. Should she be able to go back to school?
Can we blame cable news for this?
Well, no, we can blame a lack of common sense. Yes, to answer your question, I think she should go back to school. This, to me, is different. This nurse who just came back and now is in Maine, who was treating Ebola patients, who's refusing an in-home quarantine, that's absurd. I think she should be ashamed of herself. In this particular case, though, first of all, this 7-year-old was in Nigeria, which is not one of the countries where you've had the Ebola outbreak. Secondly, she was there after August 31st. This is one where I don't even think anybody thinks she's going to be symptomatic. They were telling her to stay away simply because they thought it might freak out other parents. I think she's being treated unfairly.
Well, she's definitely being treated unfairly, and as far as Nigeria not having an outbreak, they had one, but they contained it.
Yeah.
They were the first place that contained it since the end of August.
Yeah.
It's what I see here is really akin to what happened to Ryan White in the mid-'80s with the AIDS/HIV outbreak. And people were awful to him, parents and kids alike. So should she be able to go back to the school? I think she should. As a parent, I'm not sure that I'd want to put my child in the midst of that sort of potential for kids being mean, because they can be terrible, especially if their parents are talking like
Well,
this.
I think that if she wants to go back to school, she should be allowed to. I think that other parents maybe, should be given the option to keep a couple of their kids home, but not put the onus on this little girl. You know, let her go to school. And if people are that freaked out, why don't you keep your kids out of school?
Right, and I think that's one where you really do. This is one where you need some education of the parents. Where, again, you say exactly what Rochelle was talking about.
Parents, yes.
Right. This is not. It's not like she was treating Ebola patients. She was there, like you say, after August 31st. There's been no reported cases. The chances of this girl being infected are, frankly, slim to none. Get over it.
My opening comment may have been a little flip, but let's go back to that for a second. I mean, who do we blame for the panic that is instilled in people when they hear the word Ebola? Where is this coming from?
Well, it used to be something that we didn't really think about.
Well, no, because
it happened
it never
over
touched
there.
us.
Right now, it's reached a whole new level.
Yeah, but you know, in the UK, they're being a lot more measured about this, and they're a lot closer to it than we are.
Sure, you know, and I'll agree with you there. There is that 24-hour news cycle, and I think irresponsible.
They gotta fill the time.
Okay, exactly. An irresponsible journalist who are throwing out all these scenarios that don't even exist. A responsible person would choose to listen to them or choose to be educated.
Okay, but at the same time, a few weeks ago, we have the president come out and say, don't worry, you're not going to have, Ebola is not going to get into this country. Well, okay, then a week later that turns out to be not true. Then you have the reports from the hospitals and the CDC, we're ready for this. Well, you look at the way they handled this matter down in Texas, and it's clear that we weren't ready for this. Then you have the physician who comes into New York and ends up wandering around the streets for days before he tests positive for this. I mean, I understand, and look, I love to blame the media for stuff as well, but at the same time, I think, collectively, the health system hasn't done as good a job as they should have in dealing with this either.
All right, coming up next, the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And Brian Goddard back with another look. Viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we are joined by Rochelle Fritsch and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. The viewer's choice topic today, several pedestrians have been hit by vehicles recently. This morning, a 57-year-old man hit and killed in Milwaukee. A teen hit yesterday near Nicolay High School. What can be done to keep pedestrians safe? Besides the obvious here, that drivers just need to pay a lot more attention to where they are going.
And I would totally agree with you. That question really leaves me at a loss. I'm sure we've got city engineers who look at what happens in which areas, where are the hot spots for accidents, and I'm sure they build around that. And you know, when it includes even stuff like speed bumps and things like that. To me, this is a matter of personal responsibility. Do we look at prosecuting people differently? I don't know. But by that time, it's too late and a life has been lost or someone seriously injured.
Yeah, and see, and I also see, no pun intended, this is a two-sided street here, because yeah, you've got to focus on drivers and they've got to pay attention. I will tell you this though, I think pedestrians bear some responsibility too, and I'm talking about in general terms, especially with it getting dark earlier and staying dark later. I mean, you have, just the other night, we're driving around and there's somebody walking in a community where there's no sidewalks, they're in completely dark clothing, there's no street lights, and all of a sudden, you know, you see them out of the corner of your headlights. So, I mean, I think everybody bears some responsibility in this because we want people to be safe.
My biggest fear is a kid darting out
Yeah.
in front of me or somebody else. I mean, driving home from work, there are people, they just cross in the middle of the street and they're in dark clothing.
Right.
And you're almost on top of them before you see them.
Right.
The hard part about being in this job is when you see somebody in the street being stupid, you cannot just yell at them and call them stupid.
Get out of the street!
Because
Oh,
they
but
might,
you come
they
on
might know
TV the
who we
next day
are.
and tell the story. Sure you can. You know.
It's time now for our lightning round. The Milwaukee Bucks kicking off this season tonight, taking on the Charlotte Hornets. The Bucks have not won a playoff series in 13 years. Sorry to bring bad mojo to the story. The new owners are hoping to turn that around and bring new life into the team. Do you think the Bucks will have a good season? There's definitely a lot of new and good energy around this team.
So one of the predictions I saw was the Bucks won't make the playoffs this year, but they'll probably win twice as many games as they won last year.
That's a start.
Well, they won 15 last year. The over-under in Las Vegas, that over-under thing, is 25.
Okay.
I think they're going to win more than 25 games. I'm not sure they're going to quite get to 30, but you've got Jabari Parker, who I think is going to be exciting. The new Bucks ownership has a bunch of money that they're putting into the team, and that's good. It's going to be a better product than it's been the last few years. That I'm pretty confident of.
Well, and I don't know if it can suddenly get better overnight. It seems to me what the organization is trying to do is really build a culture around this new team. So yeah, we have new owners, we have a potential new facility, but they're also doing things with the businesses around that, around the arena or the site to get buy-in. And so anytime you're talking about changing a culture, building community, that's not something that happens right away. It supports the team, but I think we have to wait on those things to happen.
Jeff, are you invested in the over-under?
No,
Not this one?
I wasn't. I actually, when I was in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, I tried to find a place that was taking that particular bet. The places I was at, it was all the odds of the Bucks to win the NBA championship, which was, I wasn't willing to invest in that. But if I had an opportunity, I would bet it more than 25. I think they're going to win more than 25 games. They're going to be a better team than last year.
All right, the What's Hot discussion, we'll pick that up online. Find it at tmj4.com/hot. Thank you.